Bettor Sports Betting is your home for picks, props, and futures for tonight's action. Bettor Sports Betting wants to know what picks you're playing tonight. Tell us in the live chat on YouTube, Twitter, and the Bettor Sports Network app. This is Bettor Sports Betting with Fantasy Alarm's Dan Servodidio.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome in here to the Bettor Sports Betting Show here on Bettor Sports Network and Fantasy Alarm. Welcome into the Monday edition of the show, Monday afternoon here. Got Howard Bender back with me for today's show. What's up, Howard?
What's going on, Servo? How you doing? How was the weekend for you? How was your college football weekend? It was week 0 for you. I know you're a big college football guy. I know there were some big wins on the slate. How'd you fare?
Yeah, good and bad. Some hits and misses. On Friday's show, I did give out a couple picks on the show, and also wrote up an article over on Fantasy Alarm. Nailed the USC team total going over. A bad beat. I'll just dive right into that. Why not? Because a bad beat to start the day. I gave out on the show first half under in Navy Notre Dame.
Right. I remember.
Notre Dame scored a touchdown. It was under for the whole first half, and then Notre Dame scored a touchdown with like 15 seconds left in the first half to go over. So that was a tough way to start the day. But if you followed the DFS playbook for college football at Fantasy Alarm, I had some really good calls there, some good plays. Betting wise, it was about a 500 day for me. But it's a clean slate. This week we got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, all college football games going on. So you can bet I'll be diving into that, giving out some bets on this show for sure.
That you will. I'll be in Colorado. I'll be vacationing this weekend, trying to get in that one last trip before the NFL season starts. So I gotta get my time. Gotta recharge those batteries.
Yeah, and then lock it in for the football season. I love that. Today, we'll be giving out some baseball picks for tonight's games in a little bit here. But me and Howard have been going division by division, giving out win total predictions for every single team. So today we got our last 2 divisions before Howard goes on his vacation, so we can get these in. We get the AFC West and the NFC West divisions today. So we'll go through every team's win total. If you got any predictions on your own, definitely hit us up in this chat here on YouTube, Twitter, the Discord, wherever you're watching. Throw out some of your own picks and predictions, where you guys are feeling. Same thing with betting picks for tonight for baseball. If you got any picks you want to throw at me and Howard, we'll give our opinions on those. Maybe we're aligned on a few. I know Michael Rojas has been, me and him have been aligned on a couple, so we'll see if he's chiming in here. All right, so let's get into the AFC West to start things out here. Interesting division. All these really are, but this one, we got the Chiefs at the top at 11.5 wins. Let's start with them. Their win total is at 11.5 over on DraftKings. You can get the over at -140, the under at +120. We got the infamous Chiefs Wolf fan there representing KC here. So where are you going with this? This is a team that finished, obviously won the Super Bowl last year, right? And finished 14-3 in the regular season. So this win total is significantly lower than what they did last year. Where are you going with this 11.5 wins?
Yeah, you would think that would be one of the original Diamond Dogs, that Chiefs Wolf. I'm gonna take the over. I mean, I'm not gonna bet it at -140. I don't think there's anything wrong with betting it. It's just, there's not really much value on there. And, you always want to keep yourself protected in the case of some sort of a big injury. You just never know. So -140 isn't exactly a gimme, even though that's Vegas telling you that they feel like the over is going to hit.
Yeah.
I still think that, this is the Chiefs division. I think the AFC, as good as it's gotten, and it's definitely gotten a lot better, I still think that the Chiefs are the class of the conference. So to put them in as a 12-win team doesn't faze me at all. So I like them for the over here.
Yeah, I can't go against the Chiefs going over this win total because, listen, with Mahomes as the starter for KC, they've been at 12 wins or more every single season, 5 straight years now. I just don't see how this team is 3 wins worse than what they were last year. I know
exactly.
I know their offense, every year it seems like since Tyreek Hill left, it's like, all right, can they really have enough production outside of Kelsey? I think in the fantasy community and certainly if you're looking at betting props and all that game to game, guys like Sky Moore, Rashee Rice are, playmakers we think could step up. So, I can't bet against the Chiefs. Interesting situation I'm being fallen with the Chris Jones situation for them. He still hasn't reported yet, which is a key part of their defense.
Yeah.
Kind of a contract situation, but I hope they get him back because that'll definitely help their defense out.
Nothing worse than losing like a key component to your interior. I mean, the good thing is that at least that if their defense is soft, that their offense is so crazy potent that it's going to be able to generate a number of points. Maybe that turns into, a nice little dream for taking overs in Chiefs games. That's something to keep an eye on, especially early on in the season when everybody usually hammers the under.
Yeah, good call there. So we're both on the over for the Chiefs, agreeing from the start here. How about the Los Angeles Chargers? They're at 9.5 wins over on DraftKings. You can get their over at -120. They're under at +100. Love their mascot here. I guess that's a lightning bolt or something for the Chargers. 9.5 wins for the Los Angeles Chargers here. Their record last year, by the way, 10-7. So over this total last year. Where are you going with them?
Yeah, this is kind of a tough one for me. I mean, I've always been a relatively speaking, a Chargers fan, and I do think that Kellen Moore, as their offensive coordinator, is going to help generate a stronger, or not necessarily a stronger, but an equally as potent passing attack in this offense. Can they be a 10-win team again? Absolutely. But I'll say this. You know what? I'd actually rather take the under and the plus money.
Okay.
Just to say that maybe they finish 9-8 this season because the AFC has gotten so significantly better, as well as they're out of division, out of conference schedule as well. Might make something, make it a little bit more interesting for them. So from a value standpoint, I think I'd probably just take the under at the +100. So because I think that they're, this is right off the bat, it could go either way. Could be a 10-win team, could also easily be a 9-win team.
Yeah, I do see that the same way. This 9.5 win total is pretty well set, I think, in my opinion. I go over here just because I don't see them taking, a huge step back, if at all. I think they're going to be better than last year, and they were a 10-7 team I mentioned last year. So I'll go over here. I think the offense, you mentioned Kellen Moore being there as the new OC. I think this really helps, Justin Herbert take another step forward. He's already now in the upper echelon of quarterbacks in the NFL, but I'm really high in this offense. This is an offense. We were just talking about the Chiefs offense. I think this Chargers offense could be, finished as the highest scoring in the league. You got Herbert, I just love his weapons, assuming, of course, everyone is healthy. But Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler all back there. They add Quentin Johnston, a dynamic athlete, playmaker in the receiving core. So I'm high in this offense. And looking at their schedule, by the way, you mentioned kind of the tougher, road. They get both of their, late in the season, they get both the Chiefs and Bills in like the third to last week, and then the last game of the season. But they're both at home, which I think is huge for them because going to KC is tough. And obviously late in the year, if you have to go to Buffalo, that's tough. But I like that they get both of those at home, which, would give me more, lean to them winning them. So, yeah, I'll go with the slight over here. But, I don't blame you for liking that plus money value to take the under, too.
Yeah.
So slightly.
And then, what? Chargers at home. It's a very dangerous thing. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Chargers at home favored by 6.5 or more always makes me ridiculously nervous. Nervous.
Because it'll be a 3-point win for sure.
They'll win the game, but they won't cover the spread. It's something notable. It's like just again little things that you have to pick up on different, whether it's a betting show or you're reading somebody's work or something like that. if they're pointing you in a very specific direction to just let you know that this has been what the trend has been, it's extremely important to know that for yourself. Early games in Denver, Chargers at home by, more than by a touchdown or more. Like, these are definitely things that you need to keep watching. And the data is all available to you out online. I mean, we'll highlight things like that, especially when I'm doing the best bets article over at Fantasy Alarm this year. I'm just letting you guys know that it's something that you just, always gather information while you can.
Yeah. Yeah. The Chargers home environment isn't isn't comparable to, the Steelers or, the Eagles, like any of these teams that have a distinct home field advantage. There's a lot of visiting fans over there in LA.
Yeah.
All right. So slightly split on the Chargers there. Let's go to the Denver Broncos. 8.5 wins is their team total, or their win total this year over on DraftKings. Over under both at -110. So you could go either way on this one. This is a really tough one for me. Obviously the odds show that this could go one way or the other, but I went back and forth on this one. What are you doing with the Broncos?
I mean, listen, as you're not going to find anybody more bullish on Courtland Sutton than me this season. It's just that's the offensive scheme that Joe Lombardi runs, and that's funneling targets to that X receiver. So that's why I love Courtland Sutton on the over for his receptions. I like the over for his receiving yards as well. Broncos here win total. I'm going to take the under. I just think that they definitely still need to work some things out. It's the first year for Sean Payton and Joe Lombardi with this personnel. We have to see how Russell Wilson adapts to this system in comparison to what he's always wanted to do versus also what he has done in the past. So, I'll err on the side of caution here and say that, would it surprise me to see the Broncos win 9 games and go 9-8? No, it wouldn't. But it also wouldn't surprise me to see them go 8-9 or 7-10, just because they're still trying to work the kinks out. So that's I'm on the under for Denver.
All right. Yeah. Courtland Sutton, one of your flag plant players that over on Fantasy Alarm. Today we had an article posted with you, Britt, John Pemba, Coop, Kevin Tompkins, all of your players that you're planting a flag on for fantasy. And Courtland Sutton was definitely one of those for the Broncos. I'm a little worried outside of him. Just the fact, like, the Judy injury, I think is huge. Interested to see just how long he might be out. Javonte Williams still coming back from injury. I just see early in the season him going to be a little bit limited. They bring in Samaje Perine. I think that can't go overlooked of like them just being a little bit cautious with Williams. This is a 5-12 team last year, and you mentioned it. I'm with the under here too, because I don't see them taking a huge leap forward this season, even with Sean Payton there. Is Sean Payton really worth 4 wins on his own for this team to be, leap from a 5-12 team to all of a sudden a 9-8 team? So I'm on the under too. I'll take the under 8.5 because I do think it could be, they're going to be right around 500. It's going to be an 8-8 or 8-9 or 7-10 season, I think. So I'm with you on the under there. All right, last team for the AFC West, the Las Vegas Raiders. 6.5 wins is their team total. This was a 6-11 team last year. The overs at +110, the under at -130 on DraftKings for the Raiders there. Where are you going with Vegas?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to side with Vegas and drop into that under of -130. I mean, I don't, obviously love it, but again, here's another team that's really trying to work the kinks out. And Josh McDaniels went out and got himself Jimmy Garoppolo and Brian Hoyer for quarterback, because he knows that both these guys learned this system that he ran back in New England. So he's hoping that that's the case. Josh Jacobs just coming back and signing his franchise tender. I want to see what kind of shape he's in, because when somebody's not in camp for this long and you've got, basically a week to prepare yourself for the regular season, I always worry about the potential for soft tissue injuries if you're not properly conditioned, you're not in game shape, so to speak, for week 1. So it's just always something to kind of take a look at. So cautionary tale here for me. I'll take the under at 6 wins or 6.5.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm on the under as well. I just think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be a little less, effective, efficient than what he was in a Kyle Shanahan offense. I mean, we saw what Shanahan did when Brock Purdy stepped in, and nothing against Purdy, but he's not like a elite quarterback, and the 49ers are still able to reel off wins there. I just think
that's the system. Listen,
that's what I mean.
I don't mean to crap on Brock Purdy, but a nutless monkey could quarterback the 49ers. The offensive scheme that they're running in Las Vegas is so much more complex. It's crazy how complex it is.
That's exactly why I think Garoppolo, the change from Derek Carr to Garoppolo isn't, I think, a step up. I think if anything, it's lateral, or maybe a slight step down in terms of like quarterback talent. So, I'm on the under here. Also, just looking at their schedule, it's a brutal one. Their first, stretch of games, like they start the season at Denver. We were just mentioning, playing on the road at Denver early in the season is tough. That's their season opener. They have to play at the Bills, second game of the season. Chargers they get in the first 4 weeks. And late in the year too, they have to play the after their bye week in week 13. They finish with the Vikings, Chargers, Chiefs, Colts, which should be a win, and then Denver again. So that's a tough stretch to end the season, especially if there's a team that's kind of pointing the other direction, and all of a sudden they lose out to end of the regular season. I couldn't rule that out. So yeah, give me the under here on the Raiders too. We're both on the under. All right, so we're both on the under for the Raiders. We're both on the under for the Broncos. Split on the Chargers, and then both on the over for the Chiefs.
Yeah. See, as long as there's one team we're different on, Servo, then we're good. Then we know that's what it takes. Also, shout out to the chat. Jack sends in. Must be talking about me when he says looking svelte. I'm sure that wasn't the Chargers mascot, who Better Boss says was scary. Britt says was a Cheez-It on steroids. Yes, skinny, got the XL Red Bull, no doubt about it. And that's right, Britt. Check it off on your bingo card. Nutless monkey. Yeah, I'm just listen. It's an homage to my good friend Chris Liss, who is really no longer in the fantasy space. I don't even know if he's in the fantasy space at all anymore, or if he's just podcasting against the world. But either way, the nutless monkey nod to my good man, Chris Liss.
Yeah, I loved working with Chris Liss back in the day on the RotoWire show there. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to everyone in our chat commenting in here. I love the reactions coming in. Jack, Britt, Better Boss, Skinny, all chiming in here. So keep them coming. Let's now turn to the NFC West, because we got 4 more games here to get to, 4 more teams here, win totals to talk about. Let's start with who do we want to start?
We got to start with Arizona. Let's
start with the worst team. Let's start with the Arizona Cardinals. 3.5 is their win total. We got Darth Cardinal here. It looks like 3.5 is their win total on DraftKings. The over at -130, the under at +110. I mean, we got word today they cut Colt McCoy. The Cardinals did. They just traded for Joshua Dobbs. Yeah. So it looks like Dobbs is starting week 1.
Oh, Clayton Tune, baby. Come on.
Is it going to be Clayton Tune? Okay.
I mean, he's been the one who's been in camp. So that's the interesting thing. I mean, listen, with a 3.5 win total, this is a no bet for me. I mean, it's a no bet for me because, the Cardinals easily could try to, deal away Kyler Murray, much like the Niners did with Trey Lance. But man, I mean, this is, shout out to Heavy T, our producer today, says Jonathan Gannon said he won't name a starter. That's per Adam Schefter. So, I mean, I don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole, but they drafted Clayton Tune. I think it was like the 5th or the 6th round this year. Right. And they trade for Josh Dobbs, cut Colt McCoy. I mean, this is a team that's tanking for Caleb Williams. It has to be a team tanking for Caleb Williams. I mean, you can test out Clayton Tune and see if you've caught lightning in a bottle, or maybe with Joshua Dobbs, but brutal situation here in Arizona. Brutal.
Listen, I Well, so you got to pick over under here. Where are you going?
Really? Do I have to? I'll take the under.
We're tracking all the teams, so yeah.
Give me the plus odds. Give me the under. 2 wins, 3 wins maybe, and this team ends up with the number 1 pick in the draft next year.
I'm with you. Give me the plus odds of the under. Listen, I watched Clayton Tune in college at Houston. He benefited a lot from being in an offense that a talented quarterback you didn't really need to be a successful passing offense there. And he had Tank Dell as his top guy. I know he's shown some flashes. I don't have a lot of faith in him as a starter, as a rookie here. And if it's Joshua Dobbs, even more. So yeah, give me the under. Looking at their schedule, another team with a really tough schedule, and it's just really hard when you go game by game for them. We're not going to do it here, but it's hard to find 4 wins here. So I'll gladly take the under 3.5. And just I could see, especially at the top of this division, when they have to play the Seahawks twice, the 49ers twice, they could go winless in their division this year. So yeah, give me the under there. Britt Flynn commented saying, how much do you think the under has moved already with the Cardinals? I didn't look, maybe a week ago what it was, honestly. It probably was at 4.5, and it's now moved down to 3.5 because there's also reports, they might trade Kyler Murray, but there's also been some rumors that he might sit out the whole season if he is on the Cardinals. So, yeah, they're tanking for Caleb. This is what they're doing. All right, well, let's go to the top of the conference then. Let's go to the San Francisco 49ers. They are at 10.5 wins as a win total this year. The overs at -145, unders at +125 on DraftKings. A team that went 13-4 last year. So this 10.5 is a little bit lower, obviously. Where are you going with the 49ers?
Not next to this dude who's on screen right now, dude. Is that not the last person you want to be sitting next to at a game? I mean,
that'd be a little miserable.
Good. This is a tough one here. I'll probably, it'll be a no bet for me because I do think that that they could end up with just 10 wins. I think that, they've got a schedule that there are some borderline games there. I also think that the Seattle Seahawks have really done a good job of improving their squad. And, I think that the Seahawks could definitely give a tough performance here against the 49ers. If I have to pick, because you're making me, I will. I'll take the under for the plus odds, right? And think that they'll be a 10-win team. Again, I think things sort of level off a little bit more in the division. I just don't see them running away with it and being this isn't a 12 or a 13-win team. I'd be very surprised to see that it end up that way.
I'm with you on the under. I listen, looking back at, obviously they reeled off a great stretch at the end of the season with Brock Purdy, and you got to give him props for helping the team win those games. But they were leaning on the defense. They were leaning on the offensive scheme, as we were mentioning, that really helps out, average quarterbacks. And you look at kind of the games that they won late in the year. So, from week 11 on, they beat Arizona. They beat the Saints team that was trending down. They beat the Dolphins, without Tua. A healthy Tua. They beat the Buccaneers, another team that was trending down. They beat the Seahawks on the road, which is good. Then they had the Commanders, they had the Raiders, and then they had the Cardinals all to end the season. Just an easy schedule overall to finish out 13-4. It's not going to be that easy this time around. And I think Brock Purdy, I don't have a ton of faith in him. I don't think they made the right decision here, honestly. I just don't think he's going to be they just traded away this Trey Lance trade. They got basically nothing in return. I don't know why they wouldn't want to start out with him. I know Purdy ended the year strong. I would have started the season with Lance, see what he has. But they didn't want to do that. They have Sam Darnold as the backup to Purdy. Doesn't offer much confidence for me. I know the offense, again, helps out, decent quarterbacks, but
just pocket passers, a lot more than what Trey Lance wants to do. Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, you saw how much success they had with Jimmy Garoppolo. You don't get to be more flat-footed and stand in the pocket than Jimmy Garoppolo. And look at how successful he was in Kyle Shanahan's system. That's kind of why I think that, they're fine, moving off from Trey Lance, because, there are some guys where, you just, if you're trying to change the style of QB who they are, then why did you even draft him in the first place? Was Shanahan able to build a scheme around Trey Lance or adjust his current scheme around Trey Lance? And if not, then you gotta, try and find a way to move on. The Commanders, now they're Commanders. Back when it happened, remember when they kept trying to change Robert Griffin? Right? They kept trying to get RG3 not to be not to take off and run, not to scramble, to stay in the pocket more. And you were stifling him. And you were, so why'd you draft him in the first place then, if you didn't want some sort of a mobile QB running around and trying to extend plays with his legs? I think that's something very telling about a Shanahan system.
Yeah, and then the Washington team switched to Kirk Cousins not soon after that. Pocket passer there for Kirk.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. We got Michael Rojas commented in the chat here. The Niners to not make the playoffs at plus 360. He's already got his bet slip in for that one.
I love the hate.
I wouldn't rule it out, honestly.
I'm not gonna lie. I live out here in the Bay Area, Michael. I hope that ticket cashes. I really do.
I mean, when you look at this division, if they were in like a tougher division, I would feel more confident in it. But I wouldn't rule it out because I see them taking a step back from last year, as I just said. So,
dude, I'd parlay the Seahawks to win the division with the Niners to not make the playoffs. I think that would be a very, very interesting parlay.
So let's go to the Seahawks now. We got the Seahawks at 9.5 wins as their win total this year. Oh man, we got Hulk on the screen here. The over at plus 125, the under at minus 155 on DraftKings for this 9.5 win total for Seattle. This was a 9-win team last year, 9-8. So where are you going with Seattle?
I don't know, but I love this picture because you got the Hulk, and then in the background you got like a little lucha libre guy.
Oh yeah,
and then there's your Aunt Karen just sitting there in the on the right hand side, right?
She's booing somebody there,
just yelling at somebody right there. I'm gonna take the Seahawks. I'm gonna take the over at plus 125 here. I think they can win 10 games this season, and I think they do have the potential to edge out the San Francisco 49ers for this division lead. So. Yeah, that's where I'm going. Listen, I love, you've got a great running back in Kenneth Walker, and you doubled down with a fantastic backup in Zach Charbonnet. Shane Waldron did some amazing things with Geno Smith in this system. The run heavy scheme, early on definitely helped open things up for play action and deeper shots downfield. I mean, Waldron had Geno Smith, and granted, it's just Geno Smith, and there's nothing really special about him. Maybe the league sees him coming now, but I mean, this dude threw the 6th most pass attempts last year, which is unheard of in a Pete Carroll team. So, I think Pete Carroll is kind of leaning a little bit more on Shane Waldron to kind of get this offense a little bit more current. And so, yeah, I mean, with Lockett, with Metcalf, eventually Jackson Smith and the Jigba will be back. You got 2 high quality running backs. I think this team could be a little bit of a sleeper there in the West. And so over 9.5 at plus 125, I'm gonna lock that down.
I'm on the slight under here because I do think what you just mentioned was the opposing defensive coordinators being a little bit more ready, more prepared to force Geno Smith into more mistakes and force this offense to not be as efficient as good as they were last year. I just see some regression coming from Geno back to what we've seen from him for most of his career. I just think it was a great surprise breakout year for him, but I think the offense is going to regress, even though they you just outlined some of those guys they brought in, Charbonnet, Smith, and Jigba. But I'm on the slight under here, and one of the reasons I am too is looking at their schedule. They have a Week 5 bye. I hate teams with early season bye weeks. I just think it's a tough one because you don't have enough time. They play 4 games, and one of the games is against Carolina. The other one's against the Rams in the first game of the season. it's not enough time to really figure out, all right, what you need to adjust. I love like mid to late season bye weeks. And for them, it's tough because also, in the second half, or I guess middle of the season beyond, they get the Bengals, they get on the road at the Ravens, a 4-game stretch. They get the 49ers, Cowboys, 49ers again, then Eagles, then they're on the road to the Titans, which I think is tough. So I don't know. I see maybe another 9-win team here. I'll take the under 9.5. Could also see an 8-win team too.
Cool. Listen, man. Again, love being on the opposite side at times, making sure that we're following the same path. What do we got? The Rams now, 6.5 wins.
Yeah, 6.5 win total.
Over -105, under -115. Look at that. Another professional wrestler sitting in there with 49ers colors behind him. But here we go. So I always go first here. You go first now, Servo.
I'll go first. I'm going over here. I like the over. I think, 5-12 team last year, obviously without Stafford healthy for most of the season. I'm banking on a little bounce back, a little resurgence from Stafford and this offense to just be, underrated, a little bit more dangerous. And if Stafford gets hurt, guess what? We got this year's Brock Purdy and Stetson Bennett waiting in the wings. I just saw Stetson Bennett lead Georgia to 2 straight national championships. Obviously, a lot of that was the talent on defense leading the way, but can't put it past Stetson to really come in and relieve Stafford if he does get hurt again. But overall, I just like the over here. I think just, this win total's down based on, their 5-12 record last year, a team that late in the year was just kind of, rolling out Baker Mayfield. The offense was not good. But yeah, give me the over here. I think they're going to catch some teams by surprise. I don't know have the odds in front of me, but I would not put it past the Rams, being in contention late in the year to win this division too. Just a straight bounce back from McVay and a defense still has Aaron Donald lingering.
Well, Servo, I'm going to go on the opposite side with you, and I'm going to take the under at -115. Okay. And I'll tell you what, and this article is in the Fantasy Alarm NFL Draft Guide. You guys can check that out over at fantasyalarm.com/draft. Dan Malin's got this offensive line ranked, I think, like 31st in the 31st. Last year, run blocking was 19th overall, pass blocking 25th overall. You lose Andrew Whitworth. You lost Andrew Whitworth on the on that, but you got Joe Noteboom, who always has a problem staying healthy. Same with Rob Havenstein, the right tackle there. I don't know how much I love this offensive line, and I'll tell you what else. You've got you've got Cam Akers in the backfield. You got Cooper Kupp as a receiver. Where else are they getting it from? I'm not going to sit here and and worship Van Jefferson. I'm certainly not going to be in on Ben Skoranek. Forget Puka Nacua. I'm not even going to deal with him. And then, Higbee is your tight end, who's, short yardage guy. That's fine. You can dink and dunk down to Higbee all you want. But there's not enough explosiveness in this offense as there usually is, or that there should be. I don't love their defense very much either. So, I kind of worry that their defense isn't going to keep them into games all that often, and they just don't have enough firepower to really turn any game into a track meet. So 6 wins, 5 wins again. Yeah, I'm kind of, I'm on that lean as well.
Okay. Well, disagreeing there. I agree. The offensive weapons around Stafford, outside of Cam Akers and Cooper Kupp, is not great. So Britt Flynn commenting right now. According to a report today, Matt Stafford can't even remember players' names. He's making a legit Facebook with their faces and names.
Hey, do what you got to do, right? I mean, it's really.
They do have, when you look at their depth chart, they got Puka Nacua, you mentioned, Demarcus Robinson, a new guy in there. Zach Evans, rookie running back they got now in there. Stetson Bennett as his backup quarterback.
Yeah, that's not a team I want to invest in an over with. Sorry. Sorry, Bubba.
All right. Well, I'm going over.
By the way, Better Boss throwing down a comment here about the Jets in the playoffs, guys. And Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. That's when I'm here with Servo. That's when we've been doing the different divisions. So go back and check the Monday, Wednesday, Friday editions of this on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page or the Bettor Sports Network YouTube page. And you can find out those. Today we're covering the AFC and NFC West. We did the East a couple of shows ago. I think it was like right after I had watched a Hard Knocks episode. So it could have been like a Monday or a Wednesday. I don't know. Maybe it was the Wednesday.
Well, I'm looking back on it because we do have a Google Doc that I'm sure we'll make public after we get through all these teams where we're tracking all of our win totals, over-unders with our normal producer, Adam Bernard. And I'm looking right now, 11 or 9.5 is the win total. We were split on it, and I think you can guess which way Howard was leaning. So, but yeah, I think it was August 22nd. So it was a recent show. But yeah, go check out that show on YouTube. It lives out there. See where we're going with all those win totals for the AFC East. All right, so that's the NFC West, and the AFC West we did today. And yeah, me and Howard will be tracking these all season long. We'll see who's right, who's wrong. It'll be fun to see. Howard's saying he's right. Okay.
This guy here, he's wrong. I'm right.
I'll be right about the Eagles. How about that? I know that much. All right, let's now flip to today's baseball slate because we got plenty of games to get to, plenty of picks out there for people. So. What is your best bet tonight, Howard?
I didn't really dive heavily into the baseball slate. I picked out a couple of interesting scenarios for me. Number one, which is my best bet, I'm going to take the Padres on the run line here, -1.5, visiting team. They'll get the full complement of at-bats, -125 on DK. I mean, listen, this is a matter of I know what the Padres offense has done lately. It hasn't been good. I'm not going to deny that. But has anybody out there seen Adam Wainwright pitch lately? That's been atrocious. So I'll take the Padres visiting the Cardinals on the run line, -1.5 at -125 on DraftKings.
Yeah, listen, anytime Wainwright's on the slate, it's pretty much like an auto fade. So I get that. I totally do. All right, my best bet is the Astros Red Sox over 10 total runs. Fading Christian Javier here for the Astros just has been really struggling lately. He's got a 5.59 ERA in August, 5 ERA since the All-Star break overall. He's got some bad road numbers too compared to home. And he's got a Red Sox offense that's just, been really good against right-handed pitching all season, but especially over the past 2 weeks, this is a top-tier offense against righties. And I just think that the Red Sox are going to get to him. And on the other side, it's Chris Sale. Just gave up 4 runs to the Astros his last start. Now has to face them again. And the Astros offense is just an elite one against left-handed pitching. Over the past week, 465 WOBA, 288 ISO, 387 team batting average. Also tops in the league against lefties in the month of August in multiple categories. And Sale he's only got 5.14 ERA in his 3 starts back from injury since he rejoined this rotation. So give me the over here, full game, and a couple interesting trends to kind of track here. Astros, 8 of their last 9 games coming in tonight have hit the over, and Red Sox, 11 straight games have hit the over, and that includes 4-game series. Red Sox and Astros just played last week. All 4 went over. I think this is going to be another one high-scoring game. So give me the over here.
I can dig it as long as the Astros win. I just hate the Red Sox so much.
That's the Yankees fan bleeding through here.
Right? The Yankees fan who's been staring at that Tigers money line all morning long. Ooh. I mean, it was -118 on DraftKings when I was looking at it. I mean, I didn't bet it, but I do kind of believe in it. So I don't want to talk about it, man. Luis Severino's like a gas can. The Yankees can't hit their way out of a paper bag. Brutal.
Listen, I looked at it too. Ultimately, I just went with this one, and that's the Tigers team total over.
Okay, yeah.
Because
makes sense.
The Tigers might lose this game, but I do know that they're going to score runs because Luis Severino, 9.56 ERA for him on the road this year. It's just terrible. He's given up at least 4 runs on his own in 7 of the last 8 road games, road outings for him. I know his last start, he just threw 6 2/3 scoreless at home though against the Nats, but previous to that, he had like an 11 ERA over his previous stretch of 7-8 outings. Give me the Tigers here to put up runs. Their team total tonight is at 3.5. They've actually scored 4+ runs in 7 of their last 8 coming into tonight. So I'm taking the Tigers. Just quietly also top 10 offense in a lot of categories against righties over the past couple weeks. So yeah, give me the Tigers offense at least.
What's the alt line on the runs scored? Right, they're in Detroit, right? So I'm looking for home totals because you're taking the over 3.5 right now. I'm looking at Caesars right now, and at Caesars over 3.5 for the Tigers is minus 143. Over 4 is at minus 105. So you get the safety of the push there, and you get the better odds. So if you're going to throw this one in there, you might as well do over 4 runs for the Tigers there on that. You can get even crazier and go over 4.5 at plus 125. But I don't want to get greedy. I'll happily take a minus 105 for just over 4.
All right. We got a couple people commenting in here with some of their picks. Michael Rojas saying he likes the Nats run line at plus a 1.5 there. Okay. And Zach Greinke over 2.5 strikeouts. Braves under 7.5 runs at Coors. Interesting there. You got any opinions on some of those picks?
Nats on the run line tonight against Toronto. Against Kevin Gausman. That's kind of tough. I don't hate the pick. It's plus 1.5. So, I could easily see a 1-run game in this one here. Greinke over 2.5 Ks. I don't hate that. Pittsburgh's been striking out a ton here in the second half of the season. And so, maybe Greinke's not a big strikeout guy, but to get 3. Braves under 7.5. This is
that's a risky
it's the
one.
First game at Coors, and I never like to take teams especially for DFS. I don't like in your first game at Coors for the series, because I always feel like maybe you are getting used to not just the elevation, but it's fucking hot as balls in Colorado right now, in Denver. I'm headed that way this weekend, and I am I know I'm going to be dying of heat exhaustion at some point. But it's a tough one here. Braves under 7.5 runs at Coors. I don't hate it. I actually don't hate it because it's giving them a very, very wide margin of 5 to 7 runs scored in this game here. It's a pretty wide margin. So that one I don't mind there, Michael Rojas.
I would stay away from that because Austin Gomber's on the mound for Colorado, and you and me have talked about him. We love betting on him when he's on the road, but he's got some bad home numbers. He's got a 7 ERA at home this year. I think that's risky against a Braves offense that's could easily go for double-digit runs tonight. I'd stay away from it in general.
I'm with you, Ross. I'm with you.
Mulroyd commenting here, same game parlay. He likes Freeman to get a hit, Mookie Betts 2+ hits, and Dodgers on the run line for plus 500 odds. Dodgers get Arizona tonight and Zach Gallen. Tough matchup there for the Dodgers. But I can't tell you not to bet on Freeman and Mookie at this point. They're and especially Mookie Betts right now. He's tearing the cover off the ball. So I can get behind that plus 500 and a huge juice there for the Dodgers to win by at least 2 too.
Do we have? I want to just kind of sneak a peek at some BVP numbers. I don't really love BVP, but when you're talking about Mookie and Freeman, and it's Zach Gallen, you're just kind of curious as to what it is. So Mookie at 389 WOBA against Zach Gallen, that I'm fine with. A .083 WOBA for Freddie Freeman against Gallen, that becomes a little bit more worrisome there. I mean, he only needs a hit. Like, you're not dealing with total bases, which is great, right? So you just need a hit from Freddie Freeman. 2+, at least 2 from Betts, I think is definitely doable there. That's a tough one, man. Dodgers laying 1.5, especially at home. If they're up by 1, you go into the bottom of the 9th, you lose.
Yeah, they could win by 1 run, and you don't cash this.
You don't even get that last inning of at bat. Yeah. So that's a little bit more dangerous. It's a little more dangerous.
Looking back, they have they're when they win. I haven't fully looked at this before, but when they win, especially lately, it is by multiple runs. So if you do like them to win, they've covered their run line in, I think only one of their recent losses one of their recent wins since like the beginning of August has not covered the run line. So I could get behind that if you like the Dodgers to win anyway. All right, a couple more picks. I'll just throw out quickly here. I wrote this one up more for the MLB Underdog Fantasy Picks article over on Fantasy Alarm, so you can get some more thoughts on it. But I like Kyle Harrison tonight for the Giants to go over his strikeouts, over 5.5 strikeouts. He made his MLB debut against the Phillies last start, had 5 strikeouts in just 3 1/3 innings, got pulled early. He's going to be stretched out a little bit more tonight. Got a Reds offense that is striking out a bunch. This young offense just kind of pushing the needle a little bit with their bats. And I think Harrison's a guy, some huge strikeout numbers in the minors before being called up, and looks like he's carrying that right over. So give me the over on his strikeouts. And then the Phillies team total in the first 5 innings, over 2.5. They got Giolito, who has been kind of rough since he's been traded to the Angels. And the Phillies offense against right-handed pitching is like the best in the league over the past couple of weeks. Right up at the top over the past week as well. I don't think they're slowing down at home here tonight. So I think Giolito's given up, at least 3 here in the first 5 innings. So give me that Phillies team total just for the early going, while Giolito's at least out there. All right, so those are our baseball picks tonight. Again, we just covered the NFC West, AFC West, if anybody missed earlier on the show. So go back and listen and watch me and Howard go over, under, and all these bets. And we'll be back on the show tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern.
I have a question.
What's up, Howard?
Don't you want to do our Diamond Dogs?
I
got a couple of minutes. If we do it real quick, I got a couple of minutes.
Let's do it. Let's get to our Diamond Dogs. Let's do it.
I'm rounding up the Diamond Dogs.
Who the are the Diamond Dogs?
It's just a group of people who care, Roy. Not unlike folks at a hip-hop concert whose hands are not in the air.
Almost missed the Diamond Dogs.
How could we miss that?
I don't know. I was just so focused on the show and the flow of it. All right, so what's your Diamond Dog?
All right, Cleveland Guardians under 3.5 runs. I got it for +110 over at Caesars. Listen, Kenta Maeda, he gives up a home run or two here and there in these games, but he's been fantastic since coming back. His last 2 starts have been 6 earned runs in total in those 2 starts, 9 innings. Not the greatest, but dude, this Cleveland offense just does not consistently hit. They don't strike out, so I'm not going to touch Kenta Maeda's strikeout props. But, man, for the Cleveland Guardians to score 3 or fewer runs in this one here, +110 on Caesars, Servo. Diamond Dog that one.
I can get behind that. All right, my Diamond Dog is Christian Javier under 4.5 strikeouts, +120 on FanDuel. I got his under 5.5 last night when I was just doing some initial research. And I bet at 5.5, but in purposes of this, I want to be fair and give out under 4.5 because I still think it's going under. He's been under this in 4 straight starts. His K rate is way down compared to like earlier this year, way down compared to last year when he had a breakout season. And I mentioned it earlier, back in the Red Sox offense, just really tough on right-handed pitching, especially with the strikeouts, just one of the lowest K rates against righties all season and over the past couple of weeks. So give me the under on Javier's strikeouts plus 120 on FanDuel.
I can dig it, baby. I can dig it. I like that.
There we go.
All right.
Now we can wrap up the show and say goodbye to the people. Howard, enjoy your vacay, enjoy your break. We'll catch you when you're back for football season. But tune in tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back here on the Bettor Sports Betting Show. Coming up after us, 5 p.m. Eastern, as always, the Quick Pitch MLB DFS live show with John Mpemba and James Grande. So stay tuned for that and get your DFS lineups in. All right, everyone. Good luck with all your bets tonight, and we'll catch you tomorrow.
Make that money, yo.